Section 2. Licensing requirements. Note: Section 1 contains definitions and is not included in this overview. The Section 2 explains who must obtain a Utah driver license and the interstate agreements that keep driving records consistent. A. Residents. A Utah resident is anyone who moves here intending to make the state their permanent home, stays 6 months or more in a calendar year, or seeks privileges such as in-state tuition or vehicle registration. New residents must obtain a Utah driver license before driving on public roads. Visitors may use a valid out-of-state or foreign license for up to 6 months. Employment alone can establish residency. Being gainfully employed in Utah requires a Utah license unless you are on a short temporary assignment. Operators of road rollers, farm tractors, and similar machinery used for construction or agriculture do not need a driver license while conducting that work on Utah highways. You may not drive if you are under 16, your driving privilege is denied, suspended, or revoked, you have outstanding citations, or you have not passed required exams. Utah law forbids holding more than one RELD-compliant credential at the same time, so you must surrender any other state's RELID license when you obtain a Utah one. B. Driver License Compact. Utah belongs to the Driver License Compact, DLC, and the Non-Resident Violator Compact, NRVC, interstate agreements that share driver records and traffic convictions among member states. Through the DLC, 45 states and Washington, D.C. forward conviction data so that offenses committed elsewhere appear on your Utah driving record. The NRVC allows Utah courts to request suspension of your driving privilege in your home state if you fail to resolve an out-of-state traffic citation. States that have not adopted the DLC are Georgia, Massachusetts, Michigan, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. NRVC non-members include Alaska, California, Michigan, Montana, Oregon, and Wisconsin. These compacts let officers issue citations and release out-of-state drivers instead of requiring immediate bonds or custody, making enforcement more efficient across state lines. Section 2 Summary. Utah requires a driver license for anyone who becomes a resident and limits certain exemptions for visitors and special-purpose vehicles. Membership in the driver license and non-resident violator compacts keeps your driving record up-to-date nationwide. Next up, Section 3 explores driver education and permit requirements to help you prepare for the road. Section 3. Driver Education and Permits. Section 3 explains Utah's driver education paths, learner permits, and the steps each age group follows before scheduling a road test. Understand these classroom and behind-the-wheel requirements now, so every practice mile moves you directly toward your first license. Utah Graduated Driver Licensing Snapshot. Utah's Graduated Driver Licensing, GDL, system phases young drivers through learner, intermediate, and unrestricted stages. Each stage adds experience and removes restrictions only after the previous phase is completed violation-free. All new drivers, teens and adults, begin with a learner permit before attempting the driver skills test. Learner permit eligibility and testing. Minimum age is 15. Applicants pass a 50-question written knowledge test covering traffic laws and safe driving practices. A vision screening confirming at least 20/40th acuity, with correction if worn, is required at application. Parents or legal guardians must sign consent forms for applicants younger than 18. Learner permit supervision rules. Permit holders may drive only with a licensed adult 21 plus supervising in the front passenger seat. For the first 6 months, teens may not carry non-family passengers. Exceptions apply for emergency or farm work. All occupants must wear seatbelts, and handheld phones are prohibited for drivers younger than 18. Driver education course components. Classroom, 30 hours of state-approved instruction or an equivalent online course. Behind the wheel, 6 hours in-car training with a certified instructor plus 6 hours of observing peers. Home practice, 40 hours minimum, 10 of which occur after sunset, documented in the official driving log. Road test prerequisites. Permit held for at least 6 months for drivers under 19, no minimum for 19 plus. Completion certificates for classroom and behind-the-wheel driver ed plus the signed 40-hour practice log. 0 moving violations or at-fault crashes during the permit period. Infractions reset the waiting clock. Provisional license, intermediate rules. Night driving ban between midnight and 5 a.m. unless with a licensed adult or traveling for work/school. No passengers under 18 who are not immediate family during the first 6 months. Violations add points that can suspend the provisional license and may require traffic safety retraining. Adult learner path, 19 plus. Adults may skip driver ed by holding a learner permit for 90 days and completing 40 practice hours. Alternatively, finishing a driver education course waives the 90-day wait. All adults must still pass the vision, knowledge, and skills tests before licensing. Scheduling and taking the road test. Road tests are booked online. Applicants supply a registered, insured, and safe vehicle for the exam. The test evaluates vehicle inspection, smooth starts, parking, lane use, turns, and hazard response. Passing results in a temporary paper license. The plastic card arrives by mail within 4-6 weeks. Section 3 Summary. Driver education success is about timing, documentation, and discipline practice. Section 4. Driver license types, ID card, and required documentation. This section outlines every Utah credential, from basic operator cards to commercial and motorcycle endorsements, and the paperwork you must bring to prove eligibility. Study this directory before your branch visit so one well-filled folder handles every counter request on the first try. Class D operator license. Covers passenger cars, light trucks, and sport utility vehicles under 26,000 pounds GWR not towing large trailers. Minimum age 16 with completion of GDL requirements. Adults can test after holding a permit 90 days or finishing driver edition. Endorsements such as motorcycle or taxicab add privileges without issuing a separate card. Commercial driver license. Classes A, B, and C. Class A, combination vehicles over 26,000 pounds towing more than 10,000 pounds, typical for semis. Class B, single vehicles over 26,000 pounds or buses towing trailers under 10,000 pounds. Class C, hazmat, passenger, or school bus vehicles that do not meet A, B weight thresholds. Applicants must pass federal ELD theory and skills training and hold a commercial learner permit 14 days before the skills test. Motorcycle and motor-driven cycle endorsements. M endorsement permits operation of 2- and 3-wheeled motorcycles on public roads. Riders under 19 must complete an approved basic rider course or hold a motorcycle learner permit for 2 months. Engine size restrictions, 8 horsepower or 650 cubic centimeters, applied to 16 and 17-year-olds during the first licensing year. Provisional license for minors. Issued to drivers 16 to 20 after completing GDL stages, converts to a regular Class D at age 21 with no extra testing. Night driving and passenger limits apply until the driver turns 17 or the first 6 months elapse, whichever is later. Any moving violation may extend restrictions or trigger re-examination. Utah Identification Card, ID. Optional RELD compliant card for non-drivers, proves age and identity for banking, travel, and employment. Applicants surrender out-of-state IDs, but may hold both a Utah ID and Utah driver license simultaneously. Card expires after 8 years for adults, for years for applicants 65 plus choosing the discounted senior ID. RELID Star and Driving Privilege Cards. RELID cards display a gold beehive star and are accepted for TSA airport screening after May 7, 2025. Driving Privilege Cards, DPC, allow undocumented residents to drive legally but are not valid for federal purposes. DPC applicants supply item numbers and 2 Utah residency proofs, but cannot receive a RELID star. Proof of identity and legal presence. Provide one primary document, U.S. birth certificate, unexpired passport, consular report, or permanent resident card. Name changes require certified marriage, divorce, or court order documents linking former and current names. All foreign documents must be original or certified and accompanied by certified English translations. Social Security and residency proofs. Present an original Social Security card, W-2 or 1099 showing full SSN. Photocopies are not accepted. 2 proofs of Utah residency dated within 60 days, utility bills, lease agreements, bank statements, must show your name and physical address. P.O. boxes are not acceptable as the primary residence address on the credential. Medical and vision standards. Vision must be 20/40ths binocular or 20/40 in one eye with 20/70ths in the other, or better. Corrective lens restriction applies if worn. Applicants with medical conditions affecting consciousness or motor control must file Form DI-142 with physician approval. CDL holders follow stricter federal physical qualification rules and must submit a current DOT medical card. License terms, renewal, and fees. Standard Class D and ID cards are valid 8 years. CDL renews every 5 years. Renewals may be completed online every other cycle if photo and documentation are current in DMV records. 2024 fee schedule. Class D $52, motorcycle endorsement $11, CDL $70, original ID $23, DPC $52. Restricted and limited term licenses. Limited term licenses, valid up to 5 years, are issued to temporary lawful residents with expired visas requiring extension. Hardship or medical waivers may limit driving to specific times, routes, or adaptive equipment vehicles. Violating license restrictions carries the same penalties as operating without a license. Section 4 Summary. Choosing the correct Utah credential and bringing the exact documents keeps your DMV visit under 20 minutes. Section 5. Vision and Health. Section 5 covers Utah's vision and health standards, the physical baseline every driver must meet to share the road safely. Learn the screening process, medical report rules, and practical tips so future renewals stay quick and hassle-free. Minimum vision standards. Standard license requires 20/40ths or better combined vision, or 20/40ths in one eye and at least 20/70ths in the other. Field of view must span a minimum binocular 120-degree. Monocular drivers need 90 degrees in the seeing eye. Corrective lenses may be worn and a restriction appears on the card if they are needed to pass. Vision screening at the DMV. All first-time applicants and every renewal after age 65 complete an in-office machine vision test. Bring current glasses or contacts. Failing to present needed correction adds delays and retest fees. Drivers unable to meet standards in the DMV machine receive Form DI-142 for an eye doctor report. Corrective lens and telescopic device rules. Removing the corrective lens restriction requires passing the test without glasses/contacts at any branch. Bioptic telescopic lenses may qualify under a separate waiver program that limits speed and time of day. Police ticket drivers caught operating without required lenses, treated the same as driving on a suspended license. Medical conditions affecting driving. Seizure disorders, diabetes with hypoglycemic episodes, heart conditions causing fainting, and some mental illnesses require medical review. Physicians must complete a confidential driver medical evaluation form. The Medical Advisory Board issues recommendations. Failure to report a condition that leads to a crash can result in suspension and civil liability. Physical fitness and prosthetic aids. Applicants with limb loss or limited mobility may need adaptive equipment restrictions, automatic transmission, hand controls. A road test in the modified vehicle verifies safe handling before the license is issued or updated. Periodic medical clearance ensures the condition remains stable for continued safe driving. Self-reporting and physician responsibility. Utah law expects drivers to self-report any medical change lasting longer than 3 months that could impair safe operation. Doctors may report patients they believe unsafe. Reports are confidential and carry civil immunity protection. Ignoring mandatory follow-up letters from the DMV leads to automatic suspension. Healthy eyes driving habits. Schedule comprehensive eye exams every 2 years, every year after age 60. Keep windshields, mirrors, and headlights clean to maximize available light and contrast at night. Wear polarized sunglasses in bright sun, but remove them at dusk to preserve color recognition of signals. Section 5 Summary. Good vision and stable health power every safe mile. Screen early, treat conditions, and update the DMV promptly. Section 6 Examinations. This section describes Utah's vision, knowledge, and skills examinations, the gateway tests every applicant must pass before earning or renewing a license. Understand each exam's format, scoring, and retest rules so preparation time focuses on what really matters. Exam sequence overview. Standard licensing flow. Vision screening knowledge test learner permit practice skills road test. Failure at any step pauses the sequence until the applicant requalifies and pays applicable retest fees. Commercial and motorcycle applicants complete added endorsement exams after passing the base Class D sequence. Vision screening. Performed at every original application and at all renewals 65+, minimum 20/40ths acuity or lens restriction applies. Field of view machine test checks a 120 degrees horizontal span. Monocular applicants require 90 degrees in the seeing eye. Bring current corrective lenses. Refusing vision testing suspends processing until a doctor's report is filed. Knowledge written test. Class D test. 50 multiple choice questions. Score 80%. 40 correct to pass. Topics include Utah traffic laws, safe driving practices, road signs, DUI penalties, and GDL restrictions. Failing allows 1 retest per day. After 3 failures you must wait and pay the $11 retest fee for each additional attempt. Knowledge test tips. Read each question carefully. Many wrong answers stem from misreading except, or, unless. Use DMV practice quizzes and the Handbook's chapter review tests to gauge readiness. Arrive early. Disruptive or cheating behavior voids the test and delays retesting 90 days. Skills road test preparation. Hold learner permit for 6 months, teens, or 90 days / driver ed completion adults before scheduling. Bring a roadworthy, registered, and insured vehicle plus a licensed driver to the appointment site. Examiner may cancel for bald tires, warning lights, cracked windshield, or expired plate / stickers. Skills test maneuvers and scoring. Assessed areas, pre-drive safety check, backing, parallel or 3-point parking, lane use, turns, speed control, and hazard response. Automatic failure for dangerous acts, running a stop sign, speeding 10+ mph near collision or examiner intervention. Point deductions for minor errors, keep total below the fail threshold, varies by testing site. Retesting and time limits. Failing the skills test requires at least 1 day wait. Pay $33 retest fee after the first failure. 3 failures within 6 months void the application. You must start over with a new permit and fees. Learner permits expire after 18 months. Renew or retest knowledge if the permit lapses before passing skills. CDL and motorcycle exam extras. Commercial applicants pass separate general knowledge, air brake, combination, and endorsement written tests. CDL skills exam adds pre-trip inspection and basic control pad before on-road portion. Motorcycle riders complete a 25-question knowledge test and rider skills course evaluating swerves, weaves, and quick stops. Section 6 Summary. Exams reward preparation, know the standards, practice the maneuvers, and arrive with paperwork and vehicle ready. Section 7. Preparing your vehicle. Before wheels roll, a quick vehicle check turns potential breakdowns into harmless adjustments. Section 7 condenses Utah's registration, inspection, and pre-trip steps into one routine you can finish in 5 minutes. Registration and plate check. Verify the plate sticker month and year match the current registration. Utah police scan tags automatically. Ensure the plate is clean, illuminated, and securely fastened. Flapping plates can detach at highway speed. Carry the current registration card in the glove box to avoid citations during roadside checks. Insurance and documents on board. Utah requires proof of liability insurance in paper or digital form available at every traffic stop. Store the insurance card with the registration and emergency contacts in a labeled sleeve. Keep a copy of roadside assistance numbers. Quick access shortens shoulder time in breakdowns. Exterior walk-around inspection. Look for puddles or drips under the car, fresh fluid leaks warn of failing hoses or seals. Check tire inflation and tread. Utah winter traction law recommends 3 30-seconds inch depth or snow-rated tires. Remove ice, snow, or mud from lights and windows to maintain full visibility and signal brightness. Lights, signals, and mirrors. Activate headlights, high beams, turn signals, and brake lights while a helper confirms all bulbs illuminate. Cracked lenses or white instead of amber turn signals fail safety inspections. Replace immediately. Adjust side and interior mirrors after seating position is set. Blind mirrors equal blind spots. Underhood fluid levels. Check oil, coolant, brake, and windshield washer fluid weekly. Top up with manufacturer-approved products. Low brake fluid suggests worn pads. Inspect before the warning light triggers mid-drive. Carry spare washer fluid in Utah's dusty summer months. Grime builds fast on mountain passes. Emergency kit essentials. Pack a reflective triangle set, LED flare, jumper cables, tire inflation sealer, and a basic toolkit. Add water, snacks, blanket, and phone charger. Utah's high desert can swing 40 degrees Fahrenheit in hours. For winter travel, include a folding shovel, traction sand, and an ice scraper/brush. Trailer and cargo securement. Verify hitch rating exceeds trailer weight. Cross safety chains under the tongue and connect breakaway cable. Tie down cargo with rated straps. Utah troopers ticket loose loads and escape debris that endanger others. Check trailer lights and brakes before each haul. A helper can confirm left/right signals and running lights. Periodic safety and emissions tests. Most counties require biennial emissions tests for 1968 to 2018 gasoline vehicles and annual tests for diesels. Safety inspections now apply only to salvage rebuilt vehicles and school buses, but are smart to request yearly. Keep test certificates with your paperwork. Registration renewal may be blocked without electronic pass data. Section 7 Summary. A 5-minute inspection shields you from hours on the shoulder or weeks of paperwork after a ticket. Section 8. Basic driving. This section introduces Utah's basic driving techniques, from steering and speed control to parking and backing. Perfect these fundamentals now, and every advanced skill in later chapters will feel natural and repeatable. Steering and hand positions. Use the 9-3 grip for maximum low range without crossing arms in airbag deployment zone. Keep thumbs relaxed on the rim, not hooked, so airbag force rolls hands off, not back. Push-pull steering gives smoother turns and maintains torso stability for quicker hazard spotting. Smooth starts and acceleration. Release brake, then ease onto gas. Jerky launches waste fuel and stress driveline parts. Look 12 seconds ahead before rolling. Eye direction guides your steering input subconsciously. On grades, coordinate parking brake release with accelerator to prevent rollback. Controlled braking. Begin braking early using steady pressure. Release slightly at the final second to reduce nosedive. Anti-lock brakes. ABS stomp, stay, steer, never pump the pedal during an emergency stop. Cover braking. Foot poised over pedal cuts reaction time by half when entering busy intersections. Lane position and tracking. Center your vehicle between lane lines to keep equal escape space left and right. Straddle road crown on narrow rural lanes by aligning vehicle slightly right of center to avoid shoulder drop-offs. Glance at lane edges, not hood ornaments, to correct small drifts without oversteering. Signaling and communication. Signal at least 100 feet before turns or lane changes, and keep flashing until maneuver is complete. Tap brakes early to warn following drivers before slowing for wildlife, debris, or hidden driveways. Use headlights in the daytime rain or snow. Seeing you is a message as clear as any blinker. Turning procedures. Right turn. Approach in right lane. Signal. Slow to 1015 mph. Keep close to curb through the arc. Left turn. Wheels straight while yielding. Pivot into nearest legal lane and accelerate out of the path. Move to correct turn lane well in advance. Last-second swerves cause angle crashes and citations. Parking basics. Parallel parking sequence. Align bumpers. Reverse steering to curb at 45 degrees. Straighten, then slide in. On hills, turn wheels. Toward curb when downhill. Away when uphill with curb. Towards shoulder when no curb. Always set parking brake and shift to park or first/reverse gear in manuals before exiting. Backing safely. Back only when necessary. Pull through or circle around when possible. Look over right shoulder through rear window. Mirrors alone leave tall blind zones. Back at walking speed, a 6 mph collision doubles repair cost compared to 3 mph. Following distance and space cushion. Maintain at least a 3-second gap in daylight and dry pavement. Double it for rain or night. Increase gap behind motorcycles, large trucks, and buses. They stop and maneuver differently. If tailgate, ease off gas to widen space ahead. Signal early and let the impatient driver pass. Speed adjustment for conditions. Utah's basic speed law. Drive at a prudent speed for traffic, weather, and road, even if below the limit. Reduce speed 10 miles per hour on wet roads and more on snow, ice, or gravel to preserve stopping distance. Entering curves, brake before the bend and accelerate gradually at the apex to maintain tire traction. Section 8 Summary. Basic driving is a choreography of smooth starts, steady speed, timely signals, and ample space. Section 9. Rules of the road. This section translates Utah's rules of the road into clear actions, speed limits, right-of-way, lane use, and special situations. Mastering these rules keeps citations and collisions off your record while making traffic flow smoother for everyone. Utah Basic Speed Law. Drive at a speed reasonable for traffic, weather, and road, legal even if below the posted limit. Default limits: 20 miles per hour in school zones, 25 miles per hour residential, 65 to 80 miles per hour rural freeways where posted. Posted minimum speeds on some freeways require at least 45 miles per hour when conditions permit. Right-of-way at intersections. First vehicle to stop is first to go. If arrival is simultaneous, yield to the driver on your right. Left turns yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians, even on a green light without arrow. At T intersections, traffic on the terminating road yields to vehicles on the through road. Stop and yield sign compliance. Stop behind the limit line, if none, before entering the crosswalk, if none at the intersection edge. After stopping, proceed only when you can enter the intersection without interfering with others. Flashing red signals equal stop signs. Flashing yellow means proceed with caution. Lane use and passing rules. Keep right except to pass on multi-lane roads. Left lane hogging is citable under Utah lane travel law. Pass only where a broken yellow line appears on your side and sight distance exceeds 500 feet. Return to your lane when both headlights of the passed vehicle are visible in the interior mirror. Roundabouts and circular intersections. Yield to circulating traffic. Enter when a safe gap appears from the left. Stay in your lane. Do not stop in the circle unless required by traffic or emergency vehicle. Signal right just after the prior exit to show intent and check for pedestrians on exit crosswalk. School bus stopping. On undivided highways, all lanes must stop for a bus with flashing red lights until stop arm retracts. On divided roads, only traffic traveling the same direction must stop. Opposite lanes proceed cautiously. Violations carry minimum $100 fine and up to 6 points on the driving record. Pedestrian and crosswalk laws. Yield to pedestrians in any marked or unmarked crosswalk when they are in your half of the roadway. Do not pass a vehicle stopped at a crosswalk. Hidden pedestrians may step into your lane. Blind pedestrians with canes or guide dogs receive absolute right-of-way. Emergency and maintenance vehicles. Move one lane away or slow to at least 20 miles per hour below the limit when passing stopped emergency vehicles with flashing lights. When approached by lights/siren from behind, pull to the right edge and stop until the vehicle passes. Following closer than 500 foot behind fire apparatus responding to a call is illegal. Railroad crossing protocol. Stop 15 feet from tracks when gates lower, lights flash, or a flagger signals, remain until gates rise and lights stop. Never shift gears while crossing tracks. Stalling on tracks is a leading cause of vehicle collisions. Buses and hazardous material trucks must always stop. Be prepared to slow when following them. Overtaking cyclists and vulnerable users. Provide a minimum 3 ft clearance when passing bicyclists and remain out of the bike lane except to turn or park. At night, dim high beams for oncoming cyclists. Glare blinds them the same as drivers. Motorcyclists require a full lane. Do not share lane or crowd alongside. Freeway entry ramp etiquette. Use the full acceleration lane to match traffic speed before merging. Stopping is allowed only for emergency. Yield to freeway traffic. Adjust speed, not lane position, to find a gap. If traffic backs up onto the ramp, stay in lane. Shoulder driving invites rear-end collisions. Turning on red and U-turn rules. Right turn on red allowed after complete stop unless a sign prohibits. Yield to cross traffic and pedestrians. Left turn on red from one-way to one-way street permitted with similar yield requirements. U-turns legal where visibility is 500 feet both directions and no U-turn sign is posted. Special zone speed limits. Work zones often impose lower limits. Fines double for speeding when workers or equipment are present. School zones activate flashing beacons. Drive 20 miles per hour or posted speed while lights flash or children present. Safety corridors on I-15 carry enhanced enforcement. Expect zero tolerance for speed and phone violations. Section 9, Summary. Utah's road rules choreograph every merge, turn, and stop into predictable safety. Commit these principles to memory. Next up, Section 10 tackles sharing the road with semis, bikes, and wildlife. Section 10. Alcohol/drugs and driving. Section 10 confronts the deadliest choice on Utah roads, mixing alcohol or drugs with driving. Know these limits, penalties, and prevention tactics so impairment never ruins your life or someone else's. Blood alcohol concentration, BAC, basics. Utah's legal limit is 0.05%, the lowest per SE threshold in the U.S. for drivers 21 plus. Crash risk doubles at 0.05% and is 12 times higher by 0.1%. Back peaks 30 to 90 minutes after the last drink. Only time, not coffee or showers, lowers BAC. Utah DUI penalties. First offense, up to $1,310 fine, 48 hours jail or work service, 120-day license suspension, ignition interlock, ID, for 18 months. Second offense within 10 years, $1,560 to $2,625 fine, 10 days jail, 2-year revocation, ID 3 years. Aggravated DUI, BAC greater than or equal to 0.16% or crash with injury, mandates treatment, longer ID, and possible felony charges. Implied consent law. By driving you consent to chemical testing. Refusal triggers immediate 18-month suspension, 36 months for repeat. Refusal is admissible in court and carries a separate $750 administrative fee. Officers may seek a warrant for blood draw if you refuse but show impairment signs. Zero tolerance under 21. Drivers under 21 face automatic suspension for any detectable alcohol greater than or equal to 0.02%. Penalties: 6-month suspension. First, 2-year suspension. Second, mandatory screening and education. Parents may be liable for allowing underage drinking that results in DUI. Drug-impaired driving. THC remains impairing for hours after the high fades. Any measurable metabolite while impaired triggers DUI. Prescription opioids, benzodiazepines, sleep aids, and some antihistamines carry do not drive warnings. Combining alcohol with drugs multiplies effects. Even low doses become lethal synergies. Ignition interlock requirement. ID mandatory for all DUI convictions and for alcohol-restricted drivers caught drinking and driving. Tampering or driving without ID during the order period is a Class B misdemeanor with additional suspension. Courts may reduce ID term only after compliance review and treatment completion. Alcohol-restricted driver status. Following DUI, drivers become alcohol-restricted for 2 to 10 years, prohibiting any alcohol before driving, 0% BAC. Violating alcohol-restricted status results in license revocation and reinstatement fees. Status appears on the driver record and is shared nationwide via the Driver License Compact. Field sobriety and chemical tests. Standardized field sobriety tests, horizontal gaze nystagmus, walk and turn, one-leg stand. Portable breath tests provide probable cause, evidentiary breath or blood tests confirm BAC. Failing or refusing any step escalates to arrest and administrative action. Strategies to avoid impaired driving. Plan a sober ride rideshare, designated driver, transit before drinking begins. Hosts offer food, non-alcoholic drinks, collect keys, and arrange rides for guests. If you suspect a drunk driver, stay back and call 911 with vehicle description and direction. Section 10 Summary. Alcohol and drugs rewrite the brain. Rewrite your habits instead with planning, pacing, and protective friends. Section 11. Distractions and driving challenges. Section 11 spotlights the distractions and driving challenges that turn routine trips into risky moments, from buzzing phones to blinding snow squalls. Identify these hazards early, master the countermoves, and keep Utah's roads predictable under any pressure. 3 categories of distraction. Visual, eyes off the road, checking phone, looking at scenery. Manual, hands off the wheel, eating, reaching for items. Cognitive, mind off driving, daydreaming, heated conversations. Texting combines all 3. 5 seconds at 55 miles per hour equals a football field blind. Utah handheld device law. Illegal to dial, text, record video, or browse apps while driving. Hands-free calls allowed with one touch. First offense, Class C misdemeanor, $100 fine. Injury crash escalates to Class B with higher fines. Activate Do Not Disturb or driving focus modes before shifting to drive. In vehicle tech management. Set GPS destination, climate, and playlists in park. Rely on voice commands on the road. Glance no more than 2 seconds at infotainment screens. Longer glances triple crash risk. Disable pop-up notifications on smart dashboards to minimize cognitive load. Passenger and pet distractions. Teen drivers crash 4 times more with one teen passenger. Restrict friends until experience grows. Secure pets in crates or crash-tested harnesses. A 30 lb dog becomes a 200 lb projectile at 40 miles per hour crash. Assign a co-pilot on road trips to handle navigation and messages. Drowsy driving hazards. Being awake 18 hours impairs like 0.05% BAC. Micro-sleeps last 3 to 5 s at any speed. Plan breaks every 2 hours, share driving, and avoid heavy meals or sedating meds before travel. If eyelids droop or lanes blur, exit and nap. Coffee alone is a short-term patch. Aggressive and emotional driving. Stress narrows peripheral vision 30%. Anger fuels tailgating and speed spikes. Leave early, breathe deeply, play calm music, and reframe delays as safety investments. Do not engage with hostile drivers. Ease off, create space, and call *911 if threatened. Weather challenges, rain and snow. First rain lifts oil, reduce speed 10 miles per hour, and avoid abrupt steering for 30 minutes. Snow/ice demand gentle throttle, earlier braking, and double following distance. Use low-beam headlights in rain/snow. High beams bounce glare back at you. Mountain and desert driving. Downshift on long descents to prevent brake fade. Test brakes halfway down. Summer desert heat strains cooling systems. Check coolant and carry extra water. Rapid weather change in mountains. Pack chains, blankets, and no chain-up areas. Night and low visibility tactics. Dim high beams within 500 feet oncoming, 300 foot following. Clean lenses weekly. Overdriving headlights occurs above 45 miles per hour on low beams. Slow, so stopping distance fits light range. Use the right edge line to guide steering when glare from oncoming traffic is high. Construction and work zones. Orange signs mean lane shifts and sudden stops. Merge early using zipper technique. Fines double for speed or phone violations. Expect workers and equipment even during off hours. Follow flagger directions. They override signals and signs. Wildlife and open range hazards. Most deer collisions happen 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and dusk. Scan shoulders for gleaming eyes. If impact is unavoidable, brake firmly and stay in lane. Swerves cause rollovers and oncoming hits. Open range cattle may stand on rural highways at night. Low beam scanning is critical. Section 11 Summary. Distractions and driving challenges test even seasoned drivers. Vigilance, preparation, and self-control keep the odds in your favor. Master these defenses, and Section 12's vehicle emergency responses will complete your Utah road readiness. Section 12. Crashes and insurance. Pages 64 to 69 explain what to do after a crash, which reports and insurance forms Utah requires, and how coverage keeps your license intact. Commit these steps to memory. Panic subsides when you already know the legal checklist. Stop, secure, and aid. Utah law requires stopping at once. Park off roadway if minor damage and no injuries. Turn on hazard lights. Set triangles 200 foot behind in traffic speed greater than or equal to 45 miles per hour. Render reasonable aid. Call 911 for injuries. Keep victims warm. Avoid moving them unless fire risk. Exchange and document information. Share name, address, vehicle registration, and insurance carrier with every party. Photograph plates, licenses, damage, and the crash scene before vehicles move, if safe. Witness names and numbers strengthen insurance claims and fault investigations. When to notify police. Mandatory report for injury, death, or total property damage $2,500 plus, most modern vehicles. If officers cannot respond, storms, remote areas, file Form SR1 within 10 days with the DMV. Leaving the scene of a reportable crash is a Class B misdemeanor or Class A if injury results. Hitting unattended vehicles or property. Stop, attempt to locate owner. If impossible, leave a note with contact info and call local police. Unreported parking lot hits trigger the same hit-and-run penalties as roadway crashes. Photograph damage and your note for proof of compliance. Domestic animals and wildlife collisions. Report crashes that injure livestock to the property owner or nearest law enforcement. Removing large roadkill may require a permit. Contact Utah Highway Patrol for safe disposal guidance. Never swerve hard for small animals, maintain lane, and brake firmly. Utah minimum liability coverage. $25,000 bodily injury per person, $65,000 per crash, $15,000 property damage, 25/65/15. Personal injury protection, PP, no fault coverage, $3,000 minimum for medical expenses. Uninsured motorist bodily injury required equal to liability limits unless waived in writing. Proof of insurance and penalties. Carry paper or digital proof. Officers verify electronically during traffic stops. First-time no insurance citation for $100 fine, license and registration suspended until proof filed and $100 fee paid. Convictions place a 3-year SR22 filing requirement on your record. SR22 and high-risk insurance. SR22 is a certificate of future proof. Your insurer must notify DMV of any lapse immediately. Required for no insurance, DUI, serious point suspensions, or reinstating after revocation. Failure to maintain SR22 restarts the filing clock and resuspends driving privilege. Towing, storage, and release. Police-ordered tows require licensed operators. Storage fees accrue daily after 24 hours. Retrieve personal property within 72 hours without paying tow bill. Vehicle released after fees cleared. File crash report and insurance claim promptly. Delays rack up storage costs. Crash avoidance refresher. Seatbelts cut fatal injury risk 45%. Always buckle first. Keep a 3-second following gap and adjust speed to weather to prevent rear ends. Stay sober. Impaired drivers cause a third of all Utah traffic deaths. Section 12 Summary. Crashes test preparedness. Stop, share info, report, and lean on proper insurance. Master these steps now so paperwork is the least of your worries if metal meets metal. Section 13. Suspensions and your record. Section 13 explains how traffic convictions translate into license suspensions, revocations, and points on your Utah driving record. Learn these rules so you can protect your privilege, budget, and time by avoiding the violations that trigger harsh penalties. Utah Point System Basics. Each moving violation adds from 35 to 80 points, depending on severity, with speeding at 55 miles per hour in a 25 miles per hour zone carrying the upper range. Drivers who collect 200 points in any 3-year window face a hearing and likely suspension of from 3 months to 1 year. Completing a state-approved defensive driving course removes 50 points once every 3 years, but only before the suspension threshold is reached. Suspension versus revocation. A suspension temporarily withdraws the license for a set term, after which fees and sometimes retesting restore full privilege. Revocation voids the license entirely. Reinstatement requires passing written, vision, and road tests as though never licensed. Felony offenses such as vehicular homicide or a third DUI in 10 years mandate revocation, not mere suspension. Automatic suspension triggers. First DUI conviction yields a minimum 120-day suspension even if BAC was just above the 0.05% limit. Failure to show proof of insurance after any traffic stop suspends license and registration until SR22 filing and fees clear. Excessive speeding, 105 miles per hour or more anywhere, carries a 60-day administrative suspension in addition to court penalties. Alcohol-restricted and ignition interlock violations. After a DUI, drivers become alcohol-restricted, meaning any measurable alcohol, 0% policy, results in an automatic 1-year suspension. Court-ordered ignition interlock violations, such as driving a non-ID vehicle or tampering, extend the order by an extra 18 months. Refusing a breath or blood test creates an immediate 18-month suspension, even if later found below the legal limit. SR22 proof of financial responsibility. High-risk drivers must maintain an SR2 insurance certificate for 3 consecutive years or until the court order ends. Any lapse or cancellation generates an electronic alert to the DMV and resuspends the license without further notice. Premiums can triple during the SRT2 period. Clean performance is the fastest route back to normal rates. Appeal and hearing process. Drivers receive a notice of suspension and may request a hearing within 10 days to present mitigating evidence. Failure to appear at the scheduled hearing results in automatic upholding of the suspension order. At the hearing, you may offer completion certificates, medical documents, or witness testimony to shorten the term. Reinstatement requirements. Pay a $65 reinstatement fee plus any outstanding fines or court-ordered surcharges. Submit SRT2 proof if required. Pass vision and knowledge tests when suspension exceeds 6 months or was for points. Maintain a violation-free record for the probation period. New offenses can double the original suspension. Keeping your record clean. Monitor your driving record points annually through the DMV portal and contest incorrect convictions promptly. Space, speed control, and sober rides remove 90% of point-causing violations before police ever appear behind you. Parents should review teen records every 90 days. Early coaching prevents small citations from snowballing into suspensions. Section 13 Summary. Suspensions drain time and money, but they're predictable and preventable. Drive sober, obey speed, carry insurance, and watch your points. Master these safeguards now, and every future renewal will be a simple formality instead of a costly scramble. Section 14. Sharing the road. This section details how Utah drivers must share space with pedestrians, bikes, buses, semis, and even wildlife. Adopt these spacing and courtesy rules now so every road user, large or small, arrives safely. Pedestrian right-of-way. Yield to pedestrians in both marked and unmarked crosswalks. Stop well back so adjacent lanes also see walkers. Blind pedestrians with canes or guide dogs get absolute right-of-way. Stop and remain until they clear your lane. Mid-block hawk signals flash yellow, then red. Remain stopped on flashing red until crosswalk is empty. School zones and crossing guards. When yellow beacons flash, slow to posted 20 miles per hour and be prepared to stop at every crosswalk. Obey crossing guard whistles and hand signals. They have legal authority like stop signs. Passing or U-turning in an active school zone doubles fines and adds points. Bicyclists and e-bikes. Give cyclists at least 3 feet clearance or a full lane when posted speed exceeds 35 miles per hour. Check mirrors before opening doors and right-hooking at intersections. Bikes may overtake on the right. E-bikes follow the same lane rights as pedal bikes but accelerate faster. Expect sudden merges. Motorcycles and mopeds. Motorcycles need a complete lane. Weaving alongside crowds the rider and violates lane filtering law. Look twice at left turns. Small headlights blend with traffic gaps, masking oncoming bikes. Increase following gap to 4 seconds. Bikes stop quicker and downshift without brake lights. Large trucks and buses. Avoid no-zone blind areas. If you cannot see truck mirrors, the driver cannot see you. Pass on the left, maintain speed, and merge back only when both truck headlights appear in your mirror. Remember turning space. Trailers track wide right and need extra room on tight corners. School and transit buses. On undivided roads, stop for flashing red bus lights. Remain until stop arm retracts and lights stop. Divided highway. Stop only when traveling the same direction as the bus, but slow and watch opposite lanes. Illegally passing a bus brings minimum $100 fine, 6 points, and possible license suspension. Emergency and service vehicles. Pull right and stop for approaching sirens or flashing red/blue lights. Remain until they pass. Utah's move over law. Change lanes or slow at least 20 miles per hour below limit when passing stopped emergency, tow, or maintenance vehicles. Following closer than 500 foot behind fire apparatus responding to alarms is banned. Railroad and light rail trains. Trains cannot swerve. Stop 15 feet from lowering gates or flashing lights and remain until signals cease. Expect a second train on multi-track lines even after the first passes. Stay off light rail dedicated lanes marked by white diamonds and train-only signs. Animals and livestock. Open-range cattle, deer, and elk frequently cross mountain highways. Scan shoulders at dawn and dusk. If collision is unavoidable, brake firmly, stay in lane, and aim for a glancing blow, not a head-on swerve. Report livestock hits to owners or UHP. Moving the animal may require assistance for safety. Slow-moving and farm vehicles. Orange reflective triangle marks vehicles traveling under 25 miles per hour. Close speed differentials cause rear ends. Pass only with clear sight distance. Farm equipment may straddle center lines to avoid ditch edges. Expect left turns into unmarked field drives. Watch for hand signals or flashing ambers. Work zones and flaggers. Orange cones redirect lanes. Obey flaggers. They override signals and stop signs. Speed fines double and points add quickly for violations in the cone zone. Stay off handheld devices. Distraction inside work zones endangers workers and drivers alike. snowplows and road maintenance. Stay at least 200 foot behind operating plows. Flying salt, gravel, and snow clouds impair visibility. Never pass a plow on the right. Extended blades and windrows hide in the spray. Give standing trucks room to maneuver across lanes and shoulders. Section 14 Summary. Sharing the road is empathy in motion. Space, patience, and predictable signals keep every traveler safe. Practice these habits and Section 15's emergency maneuvers will be your last defensive layer, not your first. Section 15. Vehicle equipment. Section 15 lists the safety equipment every Utah vehicle must carry and the maintenance standards that keep inspections and police stops quick and painless. Treat this checklist like a pre-flight manual. Small fixes today prevent tickets and breakdowns tomorrow. Headlights and taillights. 2 white headlights required. They must illuminate persons 100 feet ahead on low beam and 350 feet on high. Red taillights visible 500 feet to the rear. Brake lights must emit brighter red when pedal is pressed. Replace burned bulbs immediately. 1 dead headlight creates a false motorcycle profile at night. Use daytime running lights or headlights whenever wipers are on to improve contrast in storms. Turn signals and hazard flashers. Passenger cars built after 1952 must have front and rear turn signal lamps visible 100 feet in daylight. Activate turn signal at least 100 feet before lateral moves. Faster bulbs often indicate a burned-out opposite lamp. Hazard flashers warn of breakdowns or sudden slow traffic. Utah allows use while moving below 25 miles per hour. Brake system requirements. Foot brake must stop the vehicle from 20 miles per hour within 30 feet on dry level pavement. Parking brake must hold the vehicle stationary on a 12% grade both uphill and downhill. Brake warning light or low fluid demands immediate service. Loss of 1 hydraulic circuit have stopping force. Tires and wheels. Minimum tread depth 230 seconds in across major grooves. Winter traction advisory recommends 3/32 in. Inflation below 80% of placard pressure increases blowout risk. Check monthly with a quality gauge. Cuts, exposed cords, or mismatched sizes fail roadside safety checks and invite citations. Windshields, wipers, and defrosters. Windshield must be safety glass free of star cracks over 3 in driver's view zone. Wipers must clear rain or snow on the entire sweep. Streaking blades indicate rubber degradation. Functional defroster fans are mandatory to prevent interior fog that obscures vision. Mirrors and windows. Left exterior mirror required. Right exterior or interior mirror must provide 200-foot rear visibility. Tint may not block more than 35% of light on front door windows. Windshield tint limited to top 4 in only. Remove objects dangling from mirror. A swinging air freshener can block critical sight lines. Exhaust and emissions equipment. Muffler must control noise and prevent sparks. Straight pipes and cutouts are illegal on public roads. Catalytic converter and onboard diagnostics, OBD2, system must remain intact for county emissions testing. Visible smoke for more than 5 seconds is a citable offense. Repair combustion or PCV issues promptly. Safety belts and child restraints. All seating positions require working lap shoulder belts on 1968 newer cars. Fix frayed webbing before inspections. Children under 8 must ride in an approved car seat or booster sized to height and weight. Deactivate front passenger airbag only when rear-facing infant seat must ride up front and no rear seat exists. Horn and auxiliary equipment. Horn must emit audible sound at 200 feet. Musical or excessively loud horns violate noise ordinances. Vehicles may carry a tire inflation kit or spare plus jack and lug wrench, recommended though not required. Studded tires allowed October 15th to March 31st. Chains may be required on canyon routes during storms. Annual checks and DIY maintenance. Test all lights monthly. Enlist a friend or use reflections on garage doors. Keep maintenance log with dates, mileage, and parts. Good records boost resale and warranty claims. Use Utah's online VIN check to verify any used car passes recall and brand history before purchase. Section 15 Summary. Road-ready vehicles are silent partners in safe driving. Lights, brakes, glass, and tires each shoulder part of the safety load. Section 16. Towing. Section 16 condenses Utah's towing rules into a practical guide, ensuring your hitch, trailer, and cargo move as one safe unit. Master these weight limits, equipment checks, and driving techniques now to keep summer toys and work trailers off the shoulder. Weight ratings and legal limits. Know your vehicle's gross combination weight rating, GCWR, and ensure the loaded trailer never pushes the total beyond that rating. Utah requires brakes on trailers over 3,000 pounds and prohibits towing loads heavier than 15,000 pounds without a CDL-qualified driver. Tongue weight should equal 10 to 15% of trailer weight for stable tracking at highway speed. Appendix A, D Overview. The appendices consolidate quick reference charts and resources, handy companions once the main chapters are mastered. Study these summaries now and keep the deck bookmarked for rapid look UPS on forms, fees, and emergency contacts. Appendix A, Forms and Applications. Form DL-123, Utah Driver License/ID Application, must be signed in black ink and verified with legal presence docs. Form SR1, Crash Report, submit within 10 days when police cannot respond and damage greater than or equal to $2,500 or injuries occur. Form DI-142, Medical and Vision Evaluation, completed by physician or optometrist when health changes affect driving. Form TC-661, Statement of Facts, used to correct title or registration errors without a court order. Always photocopy completed forms for your records. DMV does not return originals once scanned. Appendix B, Fee Schedule, 2084205. Class D Original or Renewal, $52, 8-year credential. Motorcycle Endorsement, $11 added to any license transaction. Commercial Driver License, $70 original, $52 renewal every 5 years. ID Card, $23 8-year, $17 4-year senior discount. Written/skills retest, $11 knowledge, $33 road, no refunds after exam starts. Late registration penalty, $20 plus $2 per day up to $40 cap. Appendix C, Points Table for Common Violations. Reckless driving, 80 points, 2 points are charged by court, immediate hearing at 200 points total. Speeding 2130 mph over, 70 points, 31 plus over, 80 points plus possible arrest at 105 miles per hour. Failure to yield row, 60 points, peak crash contributor in urban Utah intersections. Texting while driving, 50 points, Class C misdemeanor escalates if injury occurs. Seatbelt violation, driver, 35 points, convertible to 0 with defensive driving course taken within 60 days. Appendix D, Emergency and Resource Contacts. Utah Highway Patrol, UHP, *677 from cell or A015383400 for non-emergencies and road condition updates. Road Conditions Hotline, 511 or UDOT Trafficked, Utah, Gov for closures, chain controls, and travel alerts. DMV Customer Service, A0129777780, Salt Lake, or A0036888824 statewide toll-free. Insurance Verification, Drive-ins Utah, Gov to reinstate after lapse. Live chat available 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Poison Control, 800-222-1222, critical for drug impairment incidents post-crash. Utah Crisis Line, 988, mental health emergencies including suicidal or aggressive driving urges. Appendices Summary. With forms, fees, points, and hotlines in one place, these appendices turn confusion into quick action. Save this deck on your phone or glove box. Future hassles will shrink to a 5-minute read. Hitch and safety equipment. Use a class-rated receiver and ball that match or exceed the trailer's gross vehicle weight rating. Cross safety chains under the tongue in an X pattern to cradle the hitch if it fails. Connect a breakaway cable to a solid part of the tow vehicle, never the chain hooks, so electric brakes engage instantly if the trailer detaches. Brake and light connections. Before every trip, verify turn signals, brake lights, and running lights at the trailer's tail. Ask a helper or reflect light off a wall. Electric brake controllers must be adjusted so the trailer slows slightly ahead of the tow vehicle, preventing jackknife forces. Carry spare fuses and a test light. Wiring corrosion is the #1 roadside towing delay in Utah's salted winters. Loading and cargo securement. Place 60% of cargo weight forward of the axle to maintain proper tongue weight and avoid fishtailing. Use ratchet straps rated for the item's weight. Ropes lose tension after miles of vibration and wind. Utah troopers ticket unsecured loads. The fine amount can top the cost of quality tie-downs several times over. Speed, space, and handling. Utah caps towing speed at 65 miles per hour even on 80 miles per hour freeways. Slower speeds cut sway and tire heat buildup. Increase following distance to at least 5 seconds. Longer rigs need more time to brake and more space to escape hazards. Begin turns wider and slower. Trailers track inside the tow vehicle's path and can hop curbs when rushed. Descending and mountain grades. Shift to a lower gear early and allow engine braking to check speed instead of relying solely on service brakes. Stop at brake check pullouts before steep canyons like Parley's to feel drum or rotor heat with a quick infrared scan. If brakes fade, pull into the nearest runaway truck ramp. Property damage beats downhill runaway tragedies every time. Backing and maneuvering tips. Grip the wheel at the bottom. Moving your hand left steers the trailer left and vice versa. Make small steering adjustments and pause to let the trailer respond before adding more input. Use a spotter with clear hand signals in tight areas. Mirrors and cameras both create blind arcs near corners. Trailer sway recovery. If sway starts, ease off the accelerator and manually apply trailer brakes without touching the tow vehicle brakes. Hold the wheel straight, countersteering worsens oscillations and risks jackknife accidents. Stop and redistribute weight or reduce tire pressure 1 or 2 psi on the trailer if sway recurs after adjustment. Winter towing precautions. Mount rated snow tires on both tow vehicle and trailer. Mismatched traction brake stability under braking. Shorten trips or postpone travel when lake effect storms roll across IT0. Whiteout plus trailer equals 0 recovery margin. Carry chains sized for tow vehicle drive axle and trailer brake axle to maintain legal traction device compliance. Section 16 Summary. Safe towing fuses engineering limits with discipline checks, weight, hitch, lights, and calm hands on the wheel. Follow this checklist and both your cargo and driving record will reach their destinations intact.